And so tell me more about what inspired you. Was there something that just made you say, okay, I need to write this down? You know, actors need to know certain things. You know, where did that come from?
What happened was I would say things, and then I just got in the habit of asking students to give me a photocopy of their notes. Mm-hmm. And I wanted a photocopy because, so I said, be careful, don't write he's a schmuck. Well, they can write on here. But because I could see the way they'd write something down. Mm-hmm. And sometimes I'd say something, and I'd see every student underline it, exclamation point, exclamation point, exclamation point. And I'd say, oh, that hit them in some form. And so I did that for years. I had boxes of these things, and then just over time distilled it down. So I think that's what the notes in there are. You're not sure what's going to hit somebody, so I had to look at their notes to kind of see what they had written down that really struck them in a way. But I think they happen all the time. You hear notes all the time. I was talking to somebody who is a poet, and I said, how do you write a poem? And the first words out of his mouth were, you just wait. Don't force it. Don't force. Just make sure you wait for sort of the right thing. And occasionally you could say that to an actor. I mean, an actor can't wait but that idea of don't force it.
Right.
If you do the monologue the first time and you don't bawl your eyes out, don't worry about it. Back off it. Go away for a while. Don't force it. So these things happen all the time. This is a story that tells you just how notes can sometimes be really come from a strange place and actually be a strange thing. I was talking to an actor who was playing Stanley Kowalski in Streetcar Named Desire in a revival. And challenge of a lifetime, and a very good actor. And he said, this was in rehearsals, he said he leaves rehearsals, he goes home, and then he starts thinking about it, and he became more self-conscious and kind of twisted himself into a pretzel of thinking about it. And I kept, let it go. You know, your brain as an actor, when you let it go and you stop thinking about it, it does a kind of work, you know, on its own. You're unconscious. And if you keep making it so conscious, you'll wreck it. I said, well, what should I do? And my brain goes. I said, do something that just occupies your brain, you know. I said, like play video games. He said, well, when I do that, I get too competitive. I thought, oh God. All right. I said, crossword puzzles. They'll fill your mind. He says, well, I don't really do them. I said, I know, but they have them for like down to morons. So find a level, even if it's like, you know, crosswords for 16-year-olds, get a crossword puzzle book that's all right for you, that makes you think a little bit, and that can occupy your brain so that you stop thinking about this character when you're not playing it. You did it.
And it worked?
Absolutely. Because your brain will fry it. It'll destroy it. It'll keep thinking about it, and you'll really a lot of times wreck it. You know, the brain is a devouring thing. The brain is almost a version of the stomach in a way. I think that sometimes depression that people go through is because the brain begins to eat itself. So I say to people that are depressed, and sometimes actors get that, put something else in it and it'll stop eating itself. You know, just like your stomach will eventually, that's what starvation is, you'll eat yourself. So I think putting something else in that brain and getting it active, because it can be a pretty dangerous mechanism, especially for an actor.
Yeah.
That self-consciousness. Richard Burton told the story about this review that he got, and the reviewer said he used an entire octave when he said the word, whatever the word was, and it made it a song in and of itself, this one word. And Burton was like, well, great. Now when I go out and say that word,
it's going to come out.
I got this review in my head saying this is the greatest moment in the history of theater. And he said that's why he stopped reading reviews, because that kind of self-consciousness,
right?
That kind of, you know, when you tell a hilarious story at a bar and then 3 days later somebody says, oh, he told this most hilarious story, tell it. Well, a lot of times you're not going to be as good as you were in the first bar, you know, because your brain is watching. And one of the big tricks, and a lot of things I put in this book, are how an actor can stop doing that, put a couple of other little trick things in your brain that prevent you from devouring your performance.
So where can people buy your book? Samuel
Anywhere.
French, I imagine.
Samuel French,
Amazon.
and it's on Amazon, and it's at Barnes and Noble. It's anywhere. I think it should be anywhere. And a lot of times, if it's not there, they can certainly order it. But I had somebody call me from Georgia, so if it's in Georgia,
You can find it anywhere.
I don't know how many actors are in Georgia, but anyway.
So I'm Madeline LaRock, and I've been talking with Ron Marasco about his book, Notes to an Actor, and this was Industry RSVP In-Depth.